لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها، وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. When Aisha, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was asked by Al-Aswad al-Nakh'i, Al-Aswad ibn Yazid al-Nakh'i, he said to her, how did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam behave when he heard the adhan? She said, whenever he heard the adhan, he would jump. She did not say he would rise. She did not say he would pay attention. She said he would jump and immediately goes to wash for the salat. The faith and the Iman of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so strong and reactive that when we hear the adhan, he jumps immediately. The response is very quick and immediate. This is the opposite of what a hypocrite does, where he misses out the prayer, or the adhan passes out while he's sleeping and he knows there's an adhan, and he probably prays one prayer after the other into the other prayer time, and perhaps does not even put an effort to go to the masjid to pray in jama'ah. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, we hate at our time to have the word lazy. People never use the word I feel lazy. And you know why? Allah said in the Quran, in Surah An-Nisa, verse 142, وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالًا, which means in English, when they stand for prayer, they stand lazily. This is a description of the hypocrites. So the word of I feel lazy is not even in the language of people, because they know this description is for a hypocrite, not for a real Muslim who has real faith in Allah Almighty. They stay away from using that word. A hypocrite is a person who neglects the time when the prayer time comes. Fajr prayer, he prays it after the sunrise or later on. Dhuhr, he prays it late with Asr prayer, or perhaps into Maghrib prayer. When he performs Salat, he performs it in a mechanical way and so fast to get rid of it without any feeling or any soul in his performance of Salat. He performs Salat in a physical manner more than a spiritual manner, just like an exercise to finish with it. While he prays, his eyesight is moving around in his prayer, and his neck and head is moving around in his prayer. There is a sense of physical activity more than the emotional, spiritual activity that should take him into the salat. He doesn't care if he's late for Dhuhr to combine it with Asr, or late for Asr to combine it with Maghrib, Maghrib with Isha. It has no sense of time, just to finish over whatever is there. He doesn't know when the masjid is except on Friday. Hudayfa ibn Yaman, the companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is his guardian of who the hypocrites are. The only person who knows them. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught him the names of those hypocrites in the society that Muslims lived in that community. And he's the guardian of the secret of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, never revealed any name. So people come to him from time to time asking him, Ya Hudayfa, I am afraid that I am a hypocrite. Am I one of them? It was an answer that he gets approached with this question from the people around him. He would tell that person, when you are alone, do you pray? Not the mandatory prayers, the nafil, the sunnahs, when you are away from the people or alone at home. Do you pray the nafil prayers, the sunnahs, or the مثلا qiyam al-layl, away from the eyesights of people? One. The second thing, he said, when you make a sin, a mistake, when you disobey Allah Almighty, do you immediately ask Allah for forgiveness? So when these questions came to the man, he said, yes, I always pray, other than the prayer in the masjid, the prayer at home, and if I'm alone, without anybody seeing it, I would pray it. And whenever I make a mistake or disobey Allah Almighty, I would ask Allah for forgiveness. Then Hudayfa said to him, just go, you're not a hypocrite. A rule of thumb, or a basic foundation, or a principle set by Zubayr ibn al-Awwam radiallahu anhu, the companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He gave you the key of the sensitivity of testing yourself in a very critical manner. He said, anyone who can keep a secret action between him, Allah Almighty, let him make sure to keep it a secret. In plain English, you must have something special, secret action between you and Allah Almighty, and no one else has an idea about it. Not your family, not your wife, not your children, not all the community around you. And it could be several forms of things. I will give you a few examples. A time or a moment where you were asking Allah Almighty and all of a sudden tears come out of your eyes. Not in public, nobody's watching, nobody's hearing. Sincere tears from fear from Allah Almighty and asking Allah Almighty. It's kept a secret between you and Allah Almighty. A second thing, you give a charity. Your companions do not know that you are a person who is spending for the sake of Allah. And no one knows the amount that you are paying for, the amount that you're giving for the sake of Allah. No one knows that you are a person who gives for the sake of Allah. Another example, you've been helping someone or many people, and no one knows about that you are helping these people whatsoever. It's a secret action between you and Allah, away from the eyes and ears of the community around you. Or you would pray the nafil, the extra prayers. After you finish the mandatory prayers in the masjid, the nafil, you would pray it in your home, away from the eyesight of people around you, away from your family, in your room, and you pray it accordingly. And this is based on the advice of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said, "Afdalu salat al-rajul fi baytihi illa al-maktuba." The best prayer for the man is the nafil. The extra prayers are in his home, except the mandatory prayer that is in the masjid. Why? Because in the masjid, everybody is watching you, everybody is around you. You might get deviated by the sights and the scenes of the people. On that principle, the Prophet Muhammad enforced that principle to Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu. He said, if you make or disobey Allah, immediately do something to obey Allah. A wrong action should be supported with a right action immediately. If it is, he continues to say, if it's done in secret, then do it in secret. Disobey Allah in secret, you obey Allah in secret. In public, again in public. You disobey Allah in public, immediate action has to be in public. And that principle also was followed by the companion of the Prophet Muhammad Salman al-Farisi, when he said it in a statement. He said, if you make a mistake in secret, then do something good in secret. And if you do a mistake in public, then do a good deed in public. So this for that. These are the words of Salman al-Farisi. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى الدين. I will share with you a few thoughts of a scholar teaching a few principles to his students, and in it there are factors that will help you and me to be in the level of being watchful of ourselves and our relationship with Allah. So I will share a few points with you here as the words he said to his students. He said, make sure, this is the advice. He said, make sure, brothers, could you move forward? We have some brothers standing in the back, make room for them. Jazakumullah khair. If you could move forward, there's a lot of space in this area for brothers that are standing behind. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless you, inshallah. The first principle he taught his students is that start your day by praying Salat al-Fajr in a Jama'ah in the masjid. It is your first contact of that day with Allah Almighty. As you are in that, after the sun rises, you will have contact with Allah Almighty. And you will be among those who communicate, who remember Allah throughout the day. The second advice he said, the moment you hear the adhan, don't hesitate to respond to the adhan and go to the place, to the masjid. Don't delay. And as you remember in the first beginning of khutbah, I told you the response of the Prophet Muhammad as Aisha explained. He used to jump immediately for action for that. The third advice is that when you finish your prayer and you finish the tasbih after the prayer, open up your hands and ask Allah Almighty. Ask Allah sincerely after you finish your prayers. And tell Allah Almighty how much you need the help and support of Allah, and how weak you are, that you need Allah Almighty to help you. Because there is no sense of opening up a prayer and not closing the prayer as you finish your prayer without asking Allah Almighty for the help and support. Point number 4. When the night comes and you go to your bed, remember that when you lie in your bed, it could be your deathbed. Perhaps it is the last moment of your life in your bed at that night. During these moments, review the hours and the lifetime and the years and the moments that you've lived. How much time was wasted in disobedience of Allah, and how much time was wasted without remembering Allah Almighty, and ask Allah for forgiveness for those times that went without remembering Allah Almighty, and feel guilty towards these moments of your life that were wasted. And read al-Mu'awwadat. قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس قل يا أيها الكافرون قل هو الله أحد. These surahs in the Quran, and what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught you to say before you go to sleep. And then he said in a marvelous statement, he said, make sure that when your eyes close, you sleep as you are saying the tasbih of Allah Almighty. So the last words that you are saying are the tasbih of Allah Almighty is the moment when you sleep. Nothing else, no interruption, but remembering Allah Almighty. Point number 5. Whenever there is an opportunity to backbite another person and gossip about people, remember very well that you yourself, you have also bad things in you. And bad behaviors, Allah Almighty only knows. And Allah Almighty has kept it a secret from the community around you to know who the reality of you, who the reality of yourself. And remember very well, Allah Almighty can expose you and you become the talk of the town about those misbehaviors that you have done and that Allah Almighty had covered it for you, yet you wanted to expose other people's mistakes in the community around you. In that, this will stop you and prevent you and make you feel guilty about yourself and talking about and backbiting others. And also it will prevent you from venturing into haram or doing bad deeds in stopping over and reviewing yourself. And also it will give you how the blessings of Allah who has covered up your mistakes from the eyes and the ears of people, rather than to become the source of rumors in the community that you were exposed doing this and this and this against the will of Allah, and you become the talk of the town itself. The last point as I finish this khutbah, he said, if yourself tells you about disobeying Allah and doing haram, remember very well that one day you will die. And definitely at any moment you will die. Once you remember that, it will prevent you from moving into doing haram, and also it will enhance your relationship with Allah and do more things that are accepted by Allah Almighty. I ask Allah Almighty in this reminder, what I have said is for us and you and not be held against us on the day of judgment. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع مجيب الدعوات. اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما أعلنا. اللهم يمن كتابنا ويسر حسابنا. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل، ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. اللهم ارحم موتانا، شاف مرضانا، عاف مبتلانا. اللهم نسألك الجنة، اللهم نسألك الجنة، اللهم نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقم الصلاة.